Quickly add context to any map with data layers from the Living Atlas of the world. You can filter to your area of interest and browse through the various different categories that are available. If you have an idea of what you're looking for, you can type in a search phrase, such as live feeds. This particular search phrase will bring you to our live feeds layers, which offers real-time data about the world around us. For example, the Weather Warnings and Watches layer is updated every 5 minutes with data from the National Weather Service. I can see that up north right now, there's a heavy freezing spray warning near the Great Lakes, and there's flood warnings happening near the Mississippi. In the coming months, many of the live feeds layers will be offered in beta as hosted feature layers. This will make them even easier to add into your applications. Speaking of hosted feature layers, there's a new collection of layers within the Living Atlas containing data from the American Community Survey, a branch of the US Census Bureau. These cover topics such as population, race, education, income, and many others. These pre-processed layers contain data that we pull from the census, and we utilize our own Python API each year to update these data. It's behind the scenes. That way you know when you're accessing these layers, you're always getting the most current data from the census. Each layer contains 3 geography layers, each with default cartography. This layer is showing us the percent of population whose income is below the poverty line. As we zoom in, we see the county pattern, giving us a more regional perspective. If we zoom to any city within the United States or Puerto Rico, we get a more local perspective by seeing census tracts. Each layer also contains a default pop-up, really making these layers ready to use in your applications. So how would you do that? Once you've chosen the layer you want to use from the Living Atlas, go to the item details and grab the item ID from the URL. Then go to your JavaScript, and with just one line of code, add a layer from a portal item using the ID that we just grabbed. The default cartography and pop-up will carry over, making it easy to get new perspectives about topics such as poverty within your application. Another way to utilize Living Atlas layers is with the Arcade scripting language. This map shows us theft crimes in Spokane, Washington, and I've added the population and poverty tracked ACS layers from the Living Atlas. I can overlay these to visualize the pattern of poverty and crime in my city. And while visualizing these patterns is extremely powerful, Arcade lets us go one step further. Within the configuration for my crime layer, I'm using the feature set capability within Arcade to grab data from the Living Atlas to add information into my pop-up. I call to the poverty layer, intersect it with my crimes, and grab the percent of poverty attribute from that layer. Using a similar technique, I grab the total population figure, and using client-side analytic capability, I calculate population density on the fly. I put these into a neatly formatted text string, which I'll return for my pop-up. So that now, when I click on one of my crime locations, I can learn more about the census tract where that crime occurred. I can see that this crime happened in a very densely populated area where almost 50% of the population is living in poverty. That might be something that city officials want to know. These are just a few examples of how you can use the Living Atlas to enhance your own maps and applications.